Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. In this tutorial, I'm going to be recreating this look right here. It's the exact same one from my Makeup Mishaps video. You guys requested it, so I of course had to make a tutorial for you guys. The main product that I'm going to be using in order to create this look is the Anastasia Artist Palette. A lot of you guys have been asking if you should buy this one or the Shadow Couture from Anastasia. In my opinion, it kind of depends on what look it is you're trying to go for. If you want more colorful, more fun looks, I would definitely go with the Artist Palette because the colors in this palette are a lot more colorful and dramatic. Things like the yellow, the orange, the blue, so it's definitely got a little more versatility in terms of more colorful looks. If you want something for every day, one that you can travel with, basically like a go-to palette, then I would do the then I would do the Shadow Couture palette. And you can see this one has more neutral colors with subtle pops, but not as dramatic as the Artist Palette. So I'm going to put both these guys side to side so you can see the difference. So this guy right here is the Artist Palette and this is the Shadow Couture. So you can see they both have some colorful shadows in there. This one is just a lot brighter and this one you can do everyday looks with. So it's kind of personal preference, but like I said, if you want one that you will consistently reach for and use every day, then I would do Shadow Couture. But for this look, I'm going to be using the Artist Palette, so if you're curious and want to see what shadows I used from this palette to create this look, then keep on watching. Because this is going to be a really smoky look, we're going to start with the eyes. And I've been using a new technique recently rather than using the concealer that I use on my lids to prime my eyes. I've just been using whatever foundation or whatever I have on as my base as my shadow primer. It just feels a lot lighter and it looks really natural and clean. So for today, because it's so hot and I just can't bear to do an entire cream contour, even though that's what I did in my Makeup Mishaps video. So instead I'm going to be using the NARS Pure Radiant Tinted Moisturizer, and it also has an SPF 30, which is really great for summertime. So I'm going to be using this as my base, and you'll be surprised as to how much coverage this guy actually has. So I'm just going to go ahead and apply some of this to my lids using a beauty blender. I'm going to be filling in my brows using Anastasia's Dipbrow in Chocolate, and I'm going to apply it using Anastasia brush number 12. When I use Dipbrow, I like to brush it out as I go so I don't end up having too strong or bold of a looking brow. I'm going to clean up the bottom of my brow and define the shape a little more using Make Up For Ever's Full Cover Concealer and Smith Brush 212. I also like using concealer underneath the eyebrow because it'll cover up any growth that you have when you are trying to grow out your brows. So it's a good little trick if you're trying to grow your brows out right now. Or if you're just, you know, like me and are lazy and don't feel like plucking your eyebrows. The shadow base I'm going to be using is by NARS. It's the Velvet Shadow Stick in Dark Angel. This is going to make sure that the smoky eye is the darkest closest to the lash line, and it's also going to prevent any creasing and just make sure that the smoky eye stays put all day. I'm also going to run that shadow stick along the lower lash line, but rather than apply it directly from the shadow stick, I'm going to pick up a little with the brush. I'm using the Morphe M333. That's the same one I was using to smudge out the shadow base on the lids, and we're going to use that to apply it to the lower lash line so that it goes on a lot lighter and a lot smokier. Before applying any eyeshadow, I'm going to take some translucent powder and apply it to my brow bone so that when we start applying the shadow, it's going to blend out really easily without any effort, and it's going to diffuse nicely into the rest of the skin. The powder I'm using is the MAC Mineralized Skin Finish in the shade Light Plus, and I'm applying it using Smith Brush 247. And you're not going to take that setting powder any lower than your crease because we're going to be applying shadow directly on top of that shadow base to get the most color. Next, I'm going to be applying the shadow Aubergine from the Anastasia Artist Palette, and I'm going to pack that on to the lid right on top of that shadow base using Smith Brush 247, that same one we just used to apply the translucent powder. And applying this shadow directly on top of that shadow base is going to give us the most and the darkest color. Whatever color is left over on the brush, you're going to run that along the lower lash line. Next, I'm going to be applying the shadow Dusty Rose to the crease and also my lower lash line, and I'm going to do that using Smith Brush 232. I like using this brush because it's tapered, so it's allowing me to apply that shadow and also blend out the one that was on my lid, which is Aubergine, so that it doesn't look so sharp in the crease. And then I'm just going to take my favorite blending brush, the Sigma E40, and blend out the shadow. Using Smith brush number 220, I'm going to apply the shadow cold closest to my lash line. And the reason I'm using this brush is because it's going to give a really soft, smoky look rather than a harsh liner. And I'm going to do the same to the lower lash line. And then again, I'm just taking the Smith brush 232 to blend out the shadow. I always notice that when I'm blending a smoky eye, the shadow that you want to be the darkest usually tends to fade away with all that blending, so I'll just go back in and pick up the shadow and pack it back onto the lid. So in this case, I'm taking the shadow Aubergine and just reapplying it to the lid to intensify that color. Right now, because I haven't applied anything to the waterline, the smoky eye doesn't look complete, so I'm just going to take some black liner and fill in the upper and lower waterline, and I'm going to do that using NARS Larger Than Life liner in Via Vanetto. And always make sure to warm up the gel liner on the back of your hand to make sure that it glides onto the waterline really easily. To complete the eyes, I'm just going to pop on a pair of Ardell wispy lashes. And normally when you want to keep reusing your lashes, you would apply your mascara first and then do the lashes, but I'm being really lazy today and I'm just going to wash this makeup off as soon as I'm done with this tutorial. So I'm not going to be putting any mascara on, I'm just going to go straight in with the lashes, but just keep that in mind if you're doing them on yourself at home, that mascara before, if you're going to reuse the lashes. If you're just going to throw away the lashes, then it's okay to put the lashes on and then coat them with some mascara. When I apply my false lashes, I like to cut them down the middle and then apply them. I just find that when I do this on myself and on other people, they don't have that issue where they pop up in the middle or one end is stabbing you on the inner corner of the eye. When I cut them in half, I can be a little more precise when applying them. So that's just a little helpful tip if you guys ever have that problem where you try applying a full strip lash and it's just like uneven or it's poking you in the eye. Cutting them in half really helps. So we're gonna go into skin now. And like I mentioned earlier, because it's so hot and it's summertime, I don't like doing a full coverage or a lot of cream products on my skin. So even though in that video you saw where I did the Makeup Mishaps, I did a full cream contour, for today all I'm going to be using is the tinted moisturizer from NARS. And some of you are probably thinking there's no way that you can do this crazy of a smoky eye and just wear a tinted moisturizer, but I'm going to show you how to create a more fuller looking coverage using this product and some concealer. And you'll be surprised, a lot of the times when I wear this, people ask what foundation I have on, so it does have a really good coverage. So I'm going to start by taking a fairly good amount and just applying it to my skin using my fingers. To get more of a fuller looking coverage, I'm going to be using that same concealer I used underneath my brows in the very beginning of the tutorial, and that's the Makeup Forever Full Cover Concealer. I'm going to mix this in with a pinch of the NARS Tinted Moisturizer and apply that as if you would a highlight. So it's going to give you more of a fuller looking coverage down the center of the face. And this is a very generous amount, so you're just going to take a beauty blender to blend that out. So as you can see, it still looks like I have a full face of foundation on, but mixing that concealer with the tinted moisturizer is going to give you a lot nicer of a finish, and it doesn't feel like you're wearing a ton of makeup. So because we did use a concealer, I'm going to go ahead and set with powder, and I'm going to be using the Ben Nye Luxury Powder in Cameo. For a bronzer, I'm going to be using something new. Yes, I think this might have replaced my Laguna bronzer. You guys know how much I love that bronzer, but I just picked this one up and I fell in love with it, and it's the Makeup Forever Pro Bronze Fusion. So I'm going to be using this product to bronze up my skin, and I'm going to be applying it using a Smith Brush 112. So now that I've warmed up and bronzed my skin, I'm just going to chisel out my bone structure a little more using the Anastasia contour kit, and I'm going to be using this medium toned brown to just define my bone structure. And I'm going to be using that same Smith Brush 112. Using a smaller blending brush, this one's from Sigma, it's the E35 brush, I'm going to take that same powder to contour my nose. For a highlight, I'm going to be using the new Jaclyn Becca Cosmetics Champagne Pop, and I kind of want to give a very glowy finish to the skin, so I'm going to apply it kind of all over my face using Sigma brush F55. For blush, I'm going to be using the shade Madly from NARS. It's such a complementary blush color to this shadow look, especially because it's really similar to the dusty rose color that's in the crease. So if you want, you can even toss a little bit of this into your shadow to really connect the look. Now I can go back and finish the eyes, and I almost forgot one additional shadow that I wanted to add for this look, and that's the shade Buttery from the Artist Palette. And I'm going to apply it using Smith Brush 230 to the tear duct to give a little added pop. And then of course I'm going to use Anastasia's clear brow gel to set my brows in place, and I'm going to coat my lower lashes using the CoverGirl Lash Blast Length Waterproof Mascara. And finally for the lip, I'm using MAC's Stone Lip Pencil to outline, and I'm going to be filling in my lip using the NYX High Voltage Lipstick in the shade Stone. I absolutely love this lip color right now, and it's funny because when I went to the store I was debating buying it. I don't know why, I just feel like I have a lot of cool toned lipsticks at the moment, and my friend convinced me to buy it. She basically just threw it in my basket and I was like, okay, I'll buy it, and I'm really glad that she did that because I absolutely love this lipstick and it looks like you guys really love it too. These lipsticks from NYX are so creamy and hydrating. You definitely need a lip liner because if not they'll bleed, but other than that, they are an amazing lipstick. And that completes this look. Really quickly, I just want to say thank you to you guys for continuing to support me and for subscribing and following me on Instagram. It means the world to me. If it weren't for you guys, I wouldn't be doing this. On a side note, you guys know how I love doing little side notes. People keep asking what it is that I use to whiten my teeth, and I honestly don't whiten them that often. I do it maybe like once every 3 months. It's kind of, I don't know, I just always forget, and I drink a lot of coffee, so it surprises me that my teeth even look white. But the product I use is the Crest White Strips in Gentle Routine. It's for sensitive teeth because my teeth are extremely sensitive, so anything that I use to whiten my teeth usually hurts really bad. And this is the one product that seems to be working for me. You leave them on just for 5 minutes and it does the trick. I think you're supposed to use them for 14 days straight, but I just use one maybe like every 2 to 3 months. It's only whenever I feel like my teeth need a little touch up. It's not something I use religiously. So if you guys were interested, these are the guys that I use to whiten my teeth. It's nothing special or unique. It's just these guys. You can pick them up at Target. As always, thank you guys for watching, and I hope to see you in my next one. Don't forget to subscribe. Bye guys.